Now then, beautiful afternoon. Very windy again. It seems to be very windy on a daily basis. And again, it doesn't feel like July. If you're a country bod, you'll understand that we're quite in tune with seasons here. And for me, it feels like we're at the end of August, not the end of July. Anyway, two things. One is the prison overcrowding situation. Andy Burnham's saying he's going to pause the early release scheme. One, I don't know if I truly believe all of our prisons are full. And two, it is quite simple. So if you want to free up some space, send all of the foreign criminals back to their place of origin, which I think is over 10,000 people. Second is, don't have anybody in prison who is not a threat to society. People who've said silly words, people who've committed administrative, financial crimes, fraud, whatever. They shouldn't be in prison. They shouldn't be taking places because they're not a threat to society. So get them to pay a financial penalty, get them to work for local councils, charities, put them to good use, etc., etc. There's no reason for them to be imprisoned. Those two things alone would make a big difference. And potentially, if you also didn't let thousands of young men in from unknown backgrounds, the police and our prison service would also have a lot more time and space to manage the criminals we already have in this country. I've also seen firsthand some, particularly the youth prison schemes, and the couple that I went into were pretty cushy. You know, games and table tennis, computers, vending machines, food. And the people who worked in the prison service told me that they often got people who would go out and they'd reoffend straight away because they just wanted to go back in with their mates. So maybe make prisons worse, not as nice places to be, and people might think twice about committing crimes. Anyway, second is I've seen Iran have started to make some threats towards the UK, and I've seen the UK government and Air Force, etc., say they're ready to defend the UK should any attack happen. So I'm glad the UK have started to take Iran seriously. And I hope, I think they've declared the IRGC a terrorist organisation. Well done for doing something that many places across the world did a long time ago. But you need to then follow through with that. So are the charities and organisations, of which we've had many in the UK, still operating, who are linked to Iran, WASP? And have we sent those people out of the country and unable to carry on their operations? If they're serious about standing up to the likes of Iran, how do we then have boats coming nearly every other day full of young men from the Middle East mostly and Africa, but many potentially coming from Iran? Haven't we actually had some IRGC members actually come by boats, I think? I've seen articles on that. So if we're truly serious about standing up to Iran, defending this nation, how are we not doing more about the boats and taking the boats more seriously? And as I've said before, I've heard how much China have had their paws all over American politics and manipulating American politicians, potentially votes and media. We've had them have spies in British government. There's been a plethora of things that the Chinese government have done. Excuse me. And China are all over Africa. And I wonder if China potentially are working with the likes of Iran and putting together a military geopolitical warfare tactic using such young men they don't maybe want in their own countries and pushing them into Europe and particularly the UK as a destabilising effect, which seemingly is quite an effective political plan. So if we truly have a government who mean what they say and say what they mean, and they're going to stand up to Iran, defend this country, how can you say those words while seeing thousands of young men from the Middle East coming across our borders illegally with no kind of background checks? We don't know anything about these people. The two go hand in hand. If you're truly going to defend the UK, British government, start, and I mean start stopping the boats. Get the Navy in, get the Army in. That's what we pay them for, and that's what they want to do. It is their primary purpose to defend our borders. Let them do their job.